Only on the wave, 94.5 and 93.7 FM. Brought to you by Quartz Ready Cash.
Get cash now. Quartz Ready Cash has the fastest loan approvals. We can get you money in hand in as little as 24 hours. Start fresh with a Quartz Ready Cash hassle-free loan today. Our application process is easy and no deposit is required. All you need is one government ID, your job letter, a recent salary slip, a utility bill. Visit any of our Quartz branches or apply online at www.readyfinancecaribbean.com/St.Lucia and ask about our credit protection insurance or CPI. Contact us today to start fresh with the cash you need. Quartz Ready Cash. We are ready when you are. Terms and conditions apply.
And it's that time again. It's Tuesday, and it's we could call it a business Tuesday, yes, because it's always a great opportunity to link up with some amazing business owners on an island and just to celebrate in their entrepreneurship. Yeah, and we're definitely happy to bring on board Quartz Ready Cash to celebrate those entrepreneurs with us. Remember, you could start fresh with Quartz Ready Cash with the money that you need if you're struggling. If you need just a couple of dollars to get you through, whether it's to pay the bills or there's a repair that has to be taken care of or an emergency pops up, Quartz Ready Cash is here to get you the money you need now. You could get up to $20,000 and no deposit is required. The service is also fast and hassle-free, and same-day approval awaits you. You could check them out at any Quartz location, or you could apply online as well at www.readyfinancecaribbean.com. All right, and today we're happy to go behind the business of Exhale Vapes, and we have the owner himself with us, Raul Joseph. Hi, Raul. And Raul is like family, so it's like, hey dude, what's up? Nice to have you here. And we're talking about Exhale Vapes. We're going behind the business because it's quite an interesting company. And you know, it's a product that is trending worldwide now, and it's interesting to see that we had a business-minded person who was like, you know, let's bring this here. I think this could thrive here in St. Lucia. But before we get into that role, we do want to just officially welcome you to Behind the Business. Thank you for making the time out of your busy day to join us today.
And thanks for having me, Miss Anna.
All right. So, Raul, you are no stranger to, the entrepreneurial world. You've had several successful businesses under your belt. Is this something that you always wanted to do? You know, there are people who said from young they don't want to work for anybody. They want to work for themselves. Were you one of those people, Raul?
So I wouldn't say that I was one of them. I always heard my mom saying, like, you know, she don't work for nobody. She likes her own hustle and so on. And I mean, I started at a very young age because I think I was in Form 3 when I opened my first game shop.
Really?
Yeah, I had a small video arcade. And I was always into, you know, selling stuff. I used to sell Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and just doing that.
But what about it interests you? Was it just the fact that you were able to sell a product and have people interested in it, or is it just, you know, financial freedom, quote unquote?
I would say it's probably like my independence, because I never really liked asking anybody for anything. So you find that, you know, doing my little hustle, I should say, when I was a kid, you know, it allowed me to do whatever I wanted to do in terms of purchasing whatever I wanted to purchase and so on.
All right. So at that point, did you start to say, okay, well, this is something I want to have my own business, or you were still on the trend where, you know, you could do your things on the side, but you're working your corporate 9 to 5? Yeah,
because when I finally decided to go into graphic design, which is pretty much what started everything, I did work at a company, and it was It was the 9 to 5, which I really loved because I really and truly love graphic design. And, I just figured, after I left that company, there was nothing, or I should say no other company that I felt like, okay, I could be able to grow in. And at that point, I decided to branch out and make my own brand in terms of advertising, marketing, and
right.
so on.
Now, with the graphic design, I always say, let me tell you, if I have work to do, is Rawl I go into. Rawl, you are so amazing and so talented with your graphic work. How did you get into that? Are you good at drawing, or how did that happen?
So it was it's drawing. So I started off drawing. I was always into the whole art stuff, and graphic design got introduced to my school when I was like in Form 3, I believe, or was it younger? And I always had a liking for computers, and I just saw it to be, okay, this is the best of both worlds, drawing on a computer. And that's when I started, and soon after I started doing little flyers here and there, $60.
Yeah.
then moved into Sir Arthur, and I continued to do it. And when I left, I did electronic engineering. When I left, it was at that point I was like, okay, you know what? I'm not interested in what I learned. I love graphic design, so I want to get a job in graphic design. And since then, I've just been pursuing that.
Right. Yeah. And then you had other businesses under your belt. You branched off, but Exhale Vapes it literally came out of nowhere.
It did.
It vaporized.
It did.
And it is growing so well. You just opened your third location. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's talk about this company. At what point did you say this is something you want to try out here in St.Lucia?
So I was in Florida with a friend of mine, and he had this vape, and I was like, he kept on using it. I was like, yo, this smells really good. And he was like, yeah, that's like the new thing. So I was like, all right, cool. So I said, all right, cool, I'm gonna buy one just to try it out.
Okay.
I don't smoke. I'm not a fan of smoking. And when I tried it out, I was like, that would actually make some sense in St. Lucia, because you have a lot of persons smoking. You go to an event, puffing smoking in your face and all that sort of thing. And I hate the smell of cigarettes. So I got one. As soon as I got to St. Lucia, the glass broke. So I was like, okay, they should have some place in St. Lucia that would have something like that. So I visited smoke stores, went to all the various locations where you could possibly think of to get one of those things, and nobody had. There were the small pens, but it was not anything compared to the one that I got. Okay. So I decided to purchase my glass from online and so on, but then the shipping and everything was so expensive. I was like, why is that so expensive just for this little glass? So I was like, you know what, let me just probably buy like a full device, like get a new one or something. So I did that, and I used it to go to, which party it was? I think it was Sunlit. And so everyone was just like, yo, like, where you got this? And I was like, yo, like, y'all don't know about that's a new vibe.
Right.
So at that point I was like, okay, you know what, I'll bring a few of those things to sell off of Instagram.
It looks like it could be quite expensive to bring over.
Yeah, it does cost a pretty penny.
Right. So that's an investment there. Even
yeah.
to try it off. Like, yeah, people say, oh, that already looking nice. When you're in the fete and you have your outfits on and stuff. But then to take the leap and actually invest in bringing some items, even to try and sell, is commendable on its own, because you're taking a risk, a financial risk there. Yeah. So back to the story. You brought it over, and what happened from there?
So I brought it in, and I figured, you know what, let me sell a few of those things off of Instagram, created a page. I sent all the marketing material to my friend in Florida, and I was like, yo, that looks dope. That looks like one of the stores that we have over here. And I was like, all right, cool, I'll push it. So we started, running it off of Instagram and so on. And, sales was coming in here and there and so on. And when it got to the point where I had to take a Friday off of my actual work to go make deliveries, I was like, okay, Rawl, you probably need to invest in a location.
Wow.
And at that point, I started looking for spots, and Castries was hell to get a spot in. And I looked at JQ, I looked at Baywalk, I spoke with Sam about Beer Walk, and then I was like, all right, cool. That's too much of a heavy investment for something that I'm trying. I spoke to JQ. They were mostly accommodating. I must say, like they were pretty much catalysts for growth and to sort of like push me in the direction that, okay, look, a storefront is actually going to, make sense. We started at a good rate for the location and everything, and I closed my eyes according to the saying. I closed my eyes.
Really, you closed your eyes and you went for it. Because the store looks so well put together. Like you said, it looks like an international company that's opened a franchise here. Yeah. That's the look it has.
That's actually what we're going for. So yeah.
Right. So I'm sure that was it wasn't a pretty penny. Yeah. In terms of executing and getting the brand to be exactly what you have in your mind, I think you probably achieved that with your storefront. Almost. Let's talk about the product itself, because I'm sure initially when you started off there was a backlash because people didn't understand exactly what it was, and people thought you were encouraging a different type of lifestyle that may not be safe, etc. How are you able to deal with that and not just say, okay, you know what? Let me just go about my business and carry on. So
it was indeed a hurdle. I think it still is at a certain level, because persons sort of they align it with smoking. And I always tell persons, it's not smoking, it's vaping. And I have this sign in the store says no smoking.
No smoking, only vaping.
Right. And it's not comparable. While I would say that, if you don't smoke, there's no reason to worry about vaping and so on. It is an alternative to smoking cigarettes. With the cigarettes, you have thousands of chemicals that you put into your system. With the vaping, it's simplified. It's vegetable glycerin and propylene glycol. Just these two. And you don't have any of the combustion that happens when you light up a cigarette with the tobacco. Therefore, the tar that would be extracted into your lungs, you don't have that with vaping. So I always tell persons it's a safe alternative to smoking cigarettes. And it's just something that's a lot more people friendly. You don't smell of cigarettes after a day of smoking, after a day of vaping, I should say, sorry. Your madam would be
more than happy.
Yeah. And while I say don't do it in somebody's face, you can do it in public without harming the environment. And disturbing anybody's space. Have you ever gotten any testimonials from smokers who've actually been able to make the transition? So we've gotten a lot of our testimonials are from persons experience with the store and so on, and experience for our devices and our liquids and so on. One of the things that we've been trying to do is to switch persons in St. Lucia from smoking to vaping. It has not been to the magnitude that we would like. So the persons who actually did it, is a few shy people. They don't want to really talk about it.
Right,
right. But in terms of getting a testimonial for that, not as yet.
Okay.
But now, if you get us on Google, you would definitely see the feedback that we've been getting from locals and international visitors as well.
Okay, and I'm sure too, yes, like you said, international visitors, they have that experience from when they come. So when they come here, they tend to look for these things. So you're able to accommodate that. Let's just talk about the product itself, because going on your social media, I feel like it for me sometimes it's a little overwhelming. Like it looks like there's so many different things and flavors, and then there's this thing and then another thing, and so just break it down for those who are not aware. What exactly what's the process? What are the various devices that you use for vaping? So
before we go into that, one of the things that we tend to do and we pride ourselves on is to really answer questions online. We try our best to sort of like let somebody know exactly what device is for them before they even walk into the store. Because at the end of the day, vaping is not just something that you just want to do just for doing sake, but it might be something that you actually need to quit cigarettes. It might be a lifestyle that you choose because you probably have some other vices that you don't want to expand into. So I would say the first step is, shoot us a message on Instagram, WhatsApp. We have all the information on our website, and then we'll walk you through your process.
Okay.
We have two types of devices. There's the pod smaller devices, which does not discount the fact that they're good just because they're small. They use this thing called salt nicotine. So it's a higher concentration of nicotine, and it's for persons who actually smoke cigarettes and they want that transition. While it's a smaller device, it's less powerful, but the nicotine that you use with it, it will definitely give you that fix that you need from smoking a pack or two a day, sort of thing. So you would find yourself using that less than if you were to smoke cigarettes.
Okay.
The other devices, it's the sub-ohm. We call these mods. And these are for persons who want to vape recreationally, or persons who have gone through that quitting process and they still want to continue having something because again, before I continue with that, we have different persons who's addicted to nicotine. So there's one, that person who just need that nicotine fix. Two, that person who just wants to feel something, putting something up in their mouth every now and then.
Okay.
And the person who just likes the idea of blowing smoke.
Okay.
So while somebody would quit smoking cigarettes, and one would ask, okay, so if they quit the cigarettes with the vaping, why are they still vaping? They might not be addicted to nicotine, but they like the idea of having something in their mouth, blowing smoke, that sort of thing.
Wow.
So the sub-ohm device is for those people who does not need the nicotine fix. We have 0 milligrams, which is no nicotine at all, just flavors. We have 3 milligrams, 6, and we go up to 12, but that's where it stops for that sort of vaping, which is called freebies. When we hit the 18 and up, that is called the salt nicotine.
I'm sure you had to do a whole lot of research for this, and then just to equip yourself with the knowledge for when people have their questions and concerns as well. It sounds like a big arena that you're a part of.
It is.
Yeah.
The company who actually took us in as their baby is called Vapesso. It's an international brand. It's actually the first company to go public, the first vaping company, I should say, to go public. And yeah, they've been a catalyst for growth within Exhale Vapes. If you go to our stores, you'd see a lot of Vapesso branding. The last 2 stores that we open are flagship stores, and what we're going to try to do is to enhance the experience of Vapesso throughout our stores.
Now let's talk about the other 2 stores. At what point did you say, okay, I need to expand, because your JQ location is quite convenient. In the mall there you had traffic. What made you want to expand and spend more money?
So expanding has always been my number one goal when investing in a business. My thing is I don't want to invest in anything that remains stagnant, small, there's no growth and so on. So the reason behind Castries, first of all, was the feedback that we got. So while I thought that, okay, you know what, I would probably just do Rodney Bay and Vieux-Fort. We got a lot of persons saying, why you don't have a branch in Castries? Like every time I have to come up north. And I was like, it looks like something that we can explore. So when we did decide to go to Castries, and we did decide to go to Castries before doing Vieux-Fort, mainly because everything lent itself to just work seamlessly. I didn't have to really worry too much about the setup per se. I already had the location. It's something where while it's not walk up to that walk-in clientele, we pretty much set up Castries to facilitate the people who actually know about Exhale Vapes and the people who actually wants to just come purchase and leave.
Right. Okay. The familiar customers.
The familiar customers.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Whereas Rodney Bay served for that walk-in client, that curious client, and so on.
Okay.
View Fort, on the other hand, is supposed to be a reflection of Rodney Bay.
Rodney Bay. Okay.
It's just that it's towards the end of the island.
Now, this expansion to V4 was just recently.
Yes, that was like
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Right. So how has the response been down in the south?
So I don't want to get any backlash from anybody up north, but V4 people, they have a vibe.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
So the grand opening was Friday and Saturday. We did 2 days, and the reception was amazing. Like, people were very interested, and it's like you got a bunch of people who actually know about vaping. They have some smaller devices that they want replaced and so on. So it was just like, I'm actually getting goosebumps now. I got goosebumps just seeing the reception.
Response,
I was like, yo, like, we should have done this.
And I'm
sure
you didn't expect that.
I did not expect that. I did not expect it.
Wow.
So yeah, so it was definitely something
that was worth it.
Yes.
Now, Raul, how are you able to balance all of this? You have now 3 locations. You have your other companies as well that you still have to give just as much attention to, because you have
Yeah.
paying clients who need jobs done. They need things to happen on time, and then you have your life that you have to live. How are you able to manage and to maneuver throughout your daily tasks?
So I would say that, I invest in people, and I allow them to, prove themselves as one that could, this is my store, and I'm working to grow this brand, I'm looking to grow this store, and so on. And I find that giving them that sort of leeway, it has allowed me to focus on other things.
Right.
And if that wasn't the case for Rodney Bay, I would not have gone into the other locations.
So for you, your team, your workers is the most important thing to you, because you invest in them, and they giving 100% helps you to give even more. So that's important. Exactly. You don't micromanage.
No.
Very good. All right, Raul. So let's just talk a little before we close off today. I'm sure as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, you have gone through the highs and the lows as well. And without each other, you can't appreciate one as an individual. So tell us about, or share with our listeners, your words of advice as to how to maneuver through those hard times when you try something and it doesn't work, and you try again and it doesn't work. How are you able to get through those rough times to get onto the brighter side?
So, so one might say, because I remember Sean saying, it's like, all your businesses work hard, so you've never had a business that, I was like, that is not the case. Like,
so and I'm sure it's true. A lot of people look at you and like, never fail. Like everything just works out for you, but that's not the case.
Yeah, so it's something that you're gonna go through hard times. If you're persistent and you decide not to give up, it's going to be rewarding at some point or the other. It might not be now, it might not be when you're ready for it, but then when you want it, but when the time is right, it's going to work out. So like that's pretty much my mantra. Is I don't give up. However, if I see something is weighing me down, I'm not gonna continue to push at it. I'm gonna step back and try to figure out how I can approach this differently. What would make sense?
Right.
And I give everything 6 months.
Oh, that's good advice.
So I give everything 6 months. So if it doesn't work out in that period of time, I need to reassess.
Shows any sort of progression
Not saying that you need to make a profit within 6 months. Like that's unheard of in a lot of instances. But look at the progression, see if it actually makes sense, see if that if this is something that's going to be profitable within a 5-year span. And you make your decisions based on that.
So you go based off of 6 months. That's your thing. 6 months. And what about some words of advice to those who do have business ideas? Because Ron, you always come up with some good ideas. I'm sure you don't always act on everything that pops up in your brain.
That's because of Grace. She does try to hold me down. It's like, roll,
take it easy. It's true. There's some people who you always have these, and sometimes you may stretch yourself too thin. But what words of advice do you have for persons who do have those ideas that pop up and they are hesitant to take that step? You're always one to just go with it. And if it doesn't work out, then fine. But there are a lot of people who don't have that courage to take that idea from their head, maybe write it down, or to start executing it and working on it. There's always this fear, this hesitation to get one foot in front of the other. What words of advice would you have for those individuals?
So I'd say and again that's a difficult because everybody is different.
It's different, yeah.
What would work for me wouldn't work for somebody else. But I'll just say, just stay focused and try your best to make sure that this idea that you have comes to life. Sit back, analyze it. Like, I've had an idea for about, say, 10 years now. And midway, somebody came up with the exact concept, and it's still running. It's up and running. And I always watch it and I was like, okay, look, I see what this person is doing wrong, and I think I could do it better if I implement this and that and the other. And I'm not saying to wait until somebody fails to pull it up and whatnot, but then look at what's happening in the world, look at what's happening around you, and don't be discouraged just because somebody else did it already. Just try to figure out what you can do with yours to make it different.
I think that's perfect because, like they say, there are no more original ideas anymore. Everything has been done. It's just how you put your spin on it. And I think that, too, is the reason why a lot of people tend to just sit back because they have 3 other people doing that. So I can't do it either. But that's some good words of advice. Put your own spin on it and just go for it. Not because somebody else is doing it means that you can't excel in that field as well. Well, we appreciate you stopping by, being part of the program.
Thank you for having me.
Can you share with our listeners your social platforms so they could follow your company?
All right, so we're on Instagram and Facebook at Exhale Company. I'm on TikTok as Mr. Puffs.
For sure.
So so I do my little my little vape tricks on TikTok. So if you want to follow me there, you can do that.
Mr. Puff.
Mr. Puff.
That's a good one.
We're actually joining Clubhouse. We're creating a group for persons who are interested in vaping. Club, I should say, not a group. Vaping. You have questions, you probably want to know more about it and so on. We'll have discussions, hopefully weekly. I'm not sure how that is going to work out, but that's the hope.
You'll find the time.
And we have our WhatsApp platform where you could just shoot us a message. It's 484-8273. It's 484 Vape.
Okay. Yeah. And of course, your locations, you're at the JQ Mall.
JQ Mall, mezzanine level. Castries is on the chaussee next to North Southern Gas Station. And we're in Viewfort, upstairs, Chanel's Food Court.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for sharing your words of advice as well to our listeners. Behind the Business brought to you compliments Quartz Ready Cash. Remember, you could get the money that you need now with Quartz Ready Cash. You could get up to $20,000 and no deposit is required. Whatever the emergency or the need may be, Quartz Ready Cash is here to help you out. Same day approval, and the application process is quite easy. You just need to have one form of government ID, a job letter, recent salary slip, and a utility bill. And if unfortunate luck happens during that time and you've been made redundant or lose your job, Quartz Ready Cash has you covered with the credit protection insurance on all loans. You're covered up to 1 year of payments. You could ask about it. Visit any Quartz location or log online www.readyfinancecaribbean.com. Quartz Ready Cash, ready when you are.
Entrepreneurship can be lonely, and starting a business is tough, not just on the practical grind, but also financially and mentally. An entrepreneur should hold on to the vision of their business persistently, especially during this tough economic time. The Wave continues to support the hard work and dedication of local entrepreneurs. Let's shine the spotlight on them. Tune in for Behind the Business, a one-on-one discussion with successful and emerging entrepreneurs on Island. Tune in and be inspired. Behind the Business, Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Brought to you by Quartz Ready Cash, only on The Wave, 94.5 and 93.7 FM.
Get cash now. Quartz Ready Cash has the fastest loan approvals. We can get you money in hand in as little as 24 hours. Start fresh with a Quartz Ready Cash hassle-free loan today. Our application process is easy and no deposit is required. All you need is one government ID, your job letter, a recent salary slip, a utility bill. Visit any of our Quartz branches or apply online at www.readyfinancecaribbean.com/St.Lucia and ask about our credit protection insurance or CPI. Contact us today to start fresh with the cash you need. Quartz Ready Cash. We are ready when you are. Terms and conditions apply.
Explore Shell's range of engine oils and lubricants for cars, motorcycles, trucks, and more. All available at M Motors Limited, the authorized distributor of Shell lubricants in St. Lucia. Contact M Motors at 451-4269 or 720-5533. Visit M Motors today on the Vidbutang Highway and select from the range of engine oils and lubricants for cars, motorcycles, trucks, and more. All available at M Motors Limited, the authorized distributor of Shell lubricants in St. Lucia.
Everyone connected plus Flow equals a new way of living. And now when you add a mobile line to your Flow in-home service, you have two great ways to stay connected and save. Get 1 gigabyte free on up to 4 SIMs a month or up to $80 off a month on postpaid. That means better ways to save for your way of living. Call us or visit discoverflow.co today. Terms and conditions apply.
Attention!
What? 94.5 and 93.7.
Mind you, it's an election year.
I know! Toot that thing one more time.
A big election year.
You really think we don't know that? The newscasts, the talk shows? No, it's an election year. We don't need you.
So you're all registered to vote then.
94.